contract is being given. These are hundreds of Chinese men that we're talking about. And there's another topic for another day, but there's so many babies that they're creating here as well. And those baby, because you see, they meet with the local women, they promise them this and that, and then when their contract is done, they leave the kids here, and the women are left, raising Chinese and Kenyan, Chinese and Uganda.
Okay. So yeah, I thought this would be a good clip to take to show the world. I know the Israelite camps, they still not gonna listen. They still not gonna listen. They still gathering up the tare. The Most High God told us not to gather up the tare. Right? Didn't he tell the gatherers not to gather up the tare? Okay, I'm gonna show you that. You can go look ahead if you want to. You know where it's at, Matthew 13 and 25. Okay, Christ was telling us what was going to happen in these last days. Why is that important? Because the tare, we see it happening now. They are ponds, they are buffers, they are being used. They are the Edomites' children being used to wage the first level of war against us. Did you hear what I said? They are being used as pawns, and they are indispensable. They are, they have no value except for to like a pawn on the chessboard. And even to you Latinos and so-called Native Americans, that ought to tell you something. You shouldn't want to be used like that. Okay, and another thing, this is a military strategy. Uh, that shows you how heartless these people are. They are sacrificing their children. It shows you how heartless the wicked is, right? They can sacrifice their children. White on white crime. The bloodline is from the father. White on white crime. They call them brown, but brown is not a nationality. Brown is not a bloodline. They're sacrificing their children. So they can sacrifice your children. They're sacrificing their children. Look what they're doing to their children right now. They are gathering them up and putting them in barns, chaining them up and treating them very inhumanely. But the thing of it is, it's military. It's a military tactic. It's warfare. That's why they go and plant their seeds. They leave their babies on other nations to be a burden to that nation that they are at war with. They are at war with all the melanated, the indigenous people on this earth. The devil, Esau's children, his bastard children, his seed is not worth anything to him. You're not worth anything to him. Right? And that right there is enough to make you mad when your father or your parents treat you like you're worth nothing to them. And when you come to that reality, you get mad. You get mad. You really get mad. So, not trying to, sow discord or trying to rise up anybody to go, to start trouble with any particular race, but you need to be aware and to stop thinking like feeble-minded little children and start thinking like adults. You need to come, whatever nation you are, whether you are Esau's bastard children, whether you are the robots that he made out of our Christian Israelites, or just whoever you are, you need to come back to humanity and start keeping the laws and commandments of the Most High God. You need to awake, be enlightened to the laws, and become human. You got to become human, because this world has created people who were inhumane. You are a person of the system who belongs to the system of Antichrist. You don't want to belong to that system. You have to fight against that system. Who will stand up against the evildoers with the Most High, against the evildoers? So I just want to show you, we're going to hear a little bit more of her video, just a minute maybe. But I want to show you some other things because I checked with history to see, did this happen? Because the Israelites claim, let's go watch some, let's read this. Let's read this first. Let's read what the Most High had Christ to say, what Christ heard the Most High say. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, He said this to them for a reason. The kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which soweth good seed in his field. The kingdom of heaven. We are the kingdom of heaven. We are the kingdom of heaven, the Israelites. Okay? So he said it's going to be like this. But while men slept with the kingdom of heaven, the people, the citizens of the kingdom of heaven, right? That's what we're establishing now, the kingdom. We're reestablishing the kingdom of heaven. While men slept, his enemies came and sowed tare among the wheat, sowed weeds among the wheat, sowed his seed among the wheat, and went his way. Okay? So that right there, that explains how they got in the ghetto with us. That explains how they got in the ghetto with us, how they got in slavery with us. A lot of y'all say, well, I don't even want to even think of it. I just know that the Northern Kingdom gonna lose their melanin. No, they did not. Ephraim did not lose his melanin. You can look in the Dominican Republicans. There's two sides. There's Esau's bastard children, and there's Jacob's children on each one of these lands where they have power to rule. Esau has given his bastard children to be ambassadors to rule and make sure Jacob does not rise. He can't stay down there and put military down there in those lands. He'll keep the fighting going. So when he free you, he have to back the military but he still has to have diplomats, somebody to watch you, just like they've always wanted to be around us to watch us, to make sure we don't rise. They need witnesses to police us. Do I want to read this other part? Let me see. So the servant, let me see. And when the blade sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared to Tare. Then appeared to Tare. Now we didn't say nothing about them. Check this out. We didn't say nothing about Esau's bastard children being left with us in slavery on the plantation. He didn't take them to the big house and treat them like they were his children. We took care of them. Our ancestors took care of his bastard children, and we didn't complain until the blade sprung up and brought forth fruit, until the Israelites came up to reestablish, until the Most High freed them. They started reestablishing and building their communities and their kingdom, coming out from among Babylon. Babylon started falling. Then appeared the tares. Okay? What's that mean? I know y'all got an idea. Then here come the Orientals. Here come all these other nations who have been among us in the ghetto saying, we are better than y'all. We want reparations. We want our part of this Babylonian kingdom. You don't deserve anything. We are for white supremacy. We are going to vote for Donald Trump. This is the last day. We're bearing fruit now. This is the last. We're at the end right now. We're bearing fruit. What is the fruit? Come back to our own identity. Stand up for our sovereignty. Start building in our own community. Stop spending the dollars, which is no good. Stop spending our money in their communities. Stop taking care of them. Now here come the tare. Here come the tare. We are being neglected. And you see Joe Biden brought them in. He brought them in. He opened the borders and said, come in. You dark-skinned people, y'all stay out. Brown and white-skinned people, y'all come in. We're going to give you everything. We're going to give you these people's what's on the Israelites' table. We're going to give you their inheritance because we know you are our bastard children, and we need you to be a buffer for us. We need you to stand against these people because it's only a few of us uh, Edomites, true white people. We need you nations to come in and be our pawns and to stand against these people as they wake up. You get it now? Okay. Let's see. And let's see. So the servant of the household came and said unto him, Sir, didst thou sow good seed in thy field? Whom from whence then has these tares? The tares came up. The Israelites, like myself, saying, why are you gathering? Why we're saying right now to the Israelite camps? They said themselves, we know they are tares. We know they're not like us. They don't look like us. They're not like us. And here's what he said. He said unto them, an enemy has done this. The Israelites know that the enemy has done this. They can look at them people and say they're not like us, but they said, Ephraim mixed itself among the nations. These are not Ephraim's children. These, and even if they were, you don't know who's who. They say Ephraim mixed itself among the nations. You know what that's saying? That all of these light-skinned melanated people who saying me no black are Israelites. But that's not all that happened. They're not telling the whole story. Esau left his children here with us too, with our ancestors. So they were here generating in the ghetto. Esau knows that. He gave them government power. He brought them here and gave them reparations. A little short time he gave them here. He brought them here. But then we woke up so fast that he had to take them out again. Because I believe that he got so scared that the hatred for white supremacy was so great, and he started using them against each other. They had to fight against each other first coming across that border. There were Latinos fighting Latinos and snitching and gathering up Latinos, and nobody else could gather them up. So he had to pit them against each other. That was a conflict and confusion they didn't want. So they had to gather them up because there were more than they could handle. And it was too many of them. They couldn't steal the rest of our inheritance and share it with the Latinos. That's the main thing. They didn't want to share it with the Latinos or any of the other nations. So that's what this birthright citizen and stuff is about. You have no right to the rest of these crumbs, the rest of the goodies that we're stealing from these people whose this land belongs to. So we got to gather y'all up. Y'all eating too fast. And y'all getting too strong too. The Latinos were getting too strong. Right? They were getting too strong. How did they know they wasn't going to join with us? They were already mad because you left your children in the ghetto with the lowest people on the totem pole. How do you know they weren't going to get mad and take the slave side? It happened before Bacon's Rebellion. It happened before. So, let me see. What did he say? He said, okay, let's read 29. But he said, nay, least while ye gather up the tare. He said, here it is right here. While you gather up the tare, he said, ye root also the wheat. So some of these tares are going to be still connected to their black race, to their black ancestors, to their black culture. Mentally, they're gonna still be wrapped. The roots are gonna be wrapped around. So you're gonna pull up the tare, and you're gonna pull up some of the wheat. That's what the Israelite camp said. This is what the camp said. They said, "No, we can't separate them. We can't teach what Brother Walker's teaching, because he might we might scare the wheat away. We might harm the wheat, right?" So the Israelite camps, I think this is what they're saying, because Christ said this is what they're going to be saying. The leaders who are doing the gathering and teaching now, Judah, let them both grow together. Let both grow together until the harvest. The harvest is happening. So I'm going to show you why we know the harvest is happening. Let them both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye first the tare. What's happening now? He's gathering up the Latinos, the other nations, the other illegal aliens, and he's moving them out somewhere. And I would, really not consider that this is that time until we see that he is putting them in encampments. He's gathering them up and shipping them off, not back to the homeland, but he's keeping them locked up. Why is Donald Trump keeping them locked up? It's Bible prophecy, but he knows that they have treated their children so bad, and now that their children know that they are not Israelites and what the United States corporation did to them, they know who they are. What else would a child whose parent has mistreated them and treated them less than and held back on all the resources, and they lived a horrible ghetto life when they know that they are so-called white? They're going to be pretty mad. So how we know that this is the end time? He's gathered them together. Gather up the tare first. He's gathering them up. He's gathered them up. And he's taking the resources out of the country. That's another way. And bind them in bundles. They're in bundles. He's binding them in bundles. In these FEMA camps. In these camps. Concentration camps for them. To burn them, but gather up the wheat into the barn. This is the Most High is doing. So we're going to, one more part we want to show you. So you're saying, brother servant, can you give us some hard evidence on that? Well, I'm going to give you what I got. I told you I went to the people who got all the history, AI, and here's my broken grammar. What happened to the children that were born unto the slaves by the slave masters? Did they take those children and be a father to those children? That was my question. Because the Israelites seem to think, I don't know where they got their thinking from, the camp leaders, the two major camp leaders. They think that they keep saying Latino and Native Americans are our people. So they gathered up, again, they gathered up the tare. The people who were set to do us harm. But you see what the Most High had to do, because see, Esau was going to use them people. Especially we didn't know who they were. Our leaders led us wrong. The good thing they was out here working for the Lord and they didn't know no better. Because, and it's not the Most High's will for us to build our communities here and live another 2,000 or 3,000 years, another 100 years. He's gathering us up out of this kingdom so he can bring that kingdom down and bring his kingdom in. To Most High the kingdom of wickedness cannot exist alongside the kingdom of God, Yahweh and Yahweh and his sons of God. No, his chosen must be gathered too. So the thing of it is, here's what it said. Here's what they said in a short answer. Chad GPT Matter said in a short answer, legally, most of those children remained enslaved. He said legally. In other words, they had no legal rights to their father's kingdom. Socially, particularly, it depends practically, socially, and practically, it depended entirely on the individual slaver. So we know, yeah, maybe every now and then, we know that it was not sociable or acceptable to have one drop of black blood in you. So for a slave master to gather up his black, his mixed offspring and parade him around before the other white people was an embarrassment. So we know that didn't happen very often. There wasn't one single rule, but here's how it actually played out in the United States, in the US, and the Caribbeans during slavery. Here's how it played out. Legal status, the child was enslaved. He was legally enslaved. He was legally left in the ghetto and pretended to be a Negro, an enslaved Negro. The law usually Pontus sequentur ventum. The offsprings follow the womb. That's what that means. The offspring follow the womb. That's why they uh, particularly give the woman uh, uh, what you call it? Gives the woman custody over the child and charge the father. But that's being hypocritical too, because they didn't take responsibility for their bastard children that they left with us. But that's why child support is illegal. Because really that's the father's baby, but he turned it upside down and said it's the mother's baby since you helped make it. You didn't help make it. You didn't help make the child. The woman made the child. It was your child, your seed, the man's seed. The woman helped make it. She's the maker of the seed of the body for the spirit and the blood. And for the life in her. The seed comes with the nucleus. So yes, the fetus is alive from the very conception, before the conception, when it leaves its father's body. It's a living thing going to get a body. Okay? So legal status, the child was a slave. Okay? The offspring followed the womb. If the mother was enslaved, the child was enslaved, no matter who the father was. So even if the father was enslaved, a white man, a free man, the child had no legal right to freedom, inheritance, nor inheritance, or his father's name at birth. He had no inheritance with the white race, right? That's what they're going to say. They're using this law right now to say it's legal to keep these children out of their country. This is their country. No, it really ain't your country, because you're an illegal alien like your father. That's why they are able to say we're going to put a border up and keep our children out, because they don't have any legal right to us or to these people's land who we're stealing. We're stealing from these people. We have another use for you. We're going to use you as pawns. We don't care anything about you. We're going to use you as a buffer, as a standard to hold up against them when they say this is their land. We'll say, no, it's those people were here first. The Native American Indians. They did them the same way. You just heard the African woman show you how they did in Kenya. Even the Chinese do it. We all did it. We went to wars. We left babies. We left our offspring on the people who we were supposed to be saving from themselves, we left our babies on them and came back home. And no telling what happened to those Israelite babies. So the law existed specifically so enslavers could increase their property. Children were economic value. So they planted those seeds for their own pleasure. Okay? They planted those babies in there in our race for their own pleasure. Did enslavers take them and act as fathers? It varies a lot. And again, like I was saying, and it breaks into three patterns. Most commonly, no legal fatherhood, often no involvement. No legal fatherhood, no involvement. But they make us be legal, right? They say we're gonna make you the custodian parent, the payee parent. Then you got a custodian parent, then you got an obligated parent to take care. So they make sure they establish that in our race, but they never establish it for themselves. Responsibility. These people are so irresponsible. They're children. They're living in their child mind, not the adult. Parent and child is their two strongest ego suits. The child was raised in the enslaved community, usually by the mother. See, that explains how they stayed in the ghetto with us. So Israelites, I don't know what to say about you guys. Let me get out of here. Usually by the mother and other enslaved people. We took care of them in the ghetto. While the white father did not claim them publicly, to do so would admit sexual relationships, and it would create a legal family problem with his white wife, heirs, and church people. It was an embarrassment to bring that child around. We know we all doing it. We all dropping baby, but don't bring them around and try to make them a part of this, because you're going to give them their inheritance back. You're going to empower them, right? The children were treated like other enslaved people, worked in the fields. They enslaved with us, right? Enslaved with us. Worked in the fields, houses. They were sold and they were inherited, given away as gifts. Many enslavers did not even acknowledge paternity privately. They didn't even, sometimes kept on the plantation, preferentially treatment, plantation, preferentially, I don't know how to say that word. Let me see if I can break it down. Preferential treatment. Sometimes slavers kept mixed race children on their home plantation, right? They kept them close to the big house. They might be house servants instead of field laborers. Okay, see how they did it? Yes, ain't that what they're doing now? Giving them preferential treatment. Bring them across the border. You light-skinned ones, come on over here with no melanin. You come over here, we're going to give you some few things, but we're going to keep you in the ghettos. We're going to let you rise up to the status of pure white blood. Okay? They might be house servants instead of field laborers, get basic literacy, better clothes, food, or not to be sold away from the mother. Okay, them the ones that stayed with the mother, right? So the ones y'all seeing that was real close, that y'all saying, they cool with black people, they might be the main terrorists because they have empathy because they would stay with their mother, with their relatives longer. They act black, they look black because they kept them with the father and the mother. They ain't tripping over a white father, a black mother, or a black mother and a white father. They ain't tripping. They know they get along with society better, right? This was still slavery. They could be so beaten and inherited just as any other slave. So we look at Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings children. Hemings children were trained as carpenters, valets, not field hands. Jefferson's freed two in his will, and two others allowed to escape. Right. So it's you see what's all down here. I don't want to read it all, but you see it's a lot. It's a lot that could help the Israelites. I wish I had time to read it, but you can go back and look at the video and read it yourself. It's a lot, man, that the Israelites could get a better understanding and stop gathering up the tare. It's a lot they can do not to gather up the tare.